So I need you to look at this right now. This is my whole rom-com collection spread out on my bed for me to talk about. Kind of following up with the post below about how romantic comedies have ruined me, I'm going to go through all the romantic comedies that I currently own and love. Now, keep in mind, I don't own every romantic comedy that I adore, but I will give those a mention after the fact. 27 Dresses. This is when Katherine Heigl was at kind of the peak of her rom-com leading lady kind of status. I love this movie. It's really cute, and James Marsden is so hot. 500 Days of Summer. Oh, I absolutely adore this movie. Zoe Deschanel and Joseph Gordon-Levitt have such great chemistry in this movie, and it's just so well written and so well acted and directed, and it's just adorable. I actually, one day, when I get married, I would love to recreate the intro that shows the split screen of them as kids and growing up with the song from Regina Spektor called Us. I would love to recreate that for a wedding video. 16 Candles. Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, directed by, Mr. Hughes himself. Who does not like this movie? Sex and the City. Titanic. Speaks for itself. Just Friends. This movie cracks me up like no other. Ryan Reynolds, Amy Smart, Chris Klein, Anna Faris. It's just such a funny movie. My best friend Jessica and I, there are a couple scenes in this movie that we still, to this day, quote to each other. The Wedding Planner. Becoming Jane. Anne Hathaway as Jane Austen and James McAvoy as her love interest. This is such a cute and endearing love story. Under the Tuscan Sun. I love this movie. You don't understand. I adore it. Diane Lane is amazing. Wedding Crashers. Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Christopher Walken, Rachel McAdams, Bradley Cooper. Such an amazing cast. If anyone asks me what my favorite comedy is, I always go straight to this movie. The Holiday. Paris, je t'aime. I love this movie just for the fact that it has so many interconnecting stories. It's not just one film from one perspective, but it's done by different directors, and all these love stories are happening in the city of love, Paris. La Berge Espagnole. Never Been Kissed. You can't say that your wife, your sister, your daughter, or your girlfriend has never seen this movie. It is The Notebook. Mean Girls. Will Smith is Hitch. Ever After. One of the best renditions of Jane Austen's classic novel, Pride and Prejudice. She's the Man. I love the chemistry between Justin and Mila, even though they can just consider themselves pretty much friends with benefits. When the trailer for this first came out, I was like, oh, this is so ridiculous. It just seems like a female version of The Hangover. Skip. Went to go see it with one of my best friends, and we could not stop laughing the entire time. We still quote it to this day. One of the best comedies I've ever seen, one of my favorites, and very much a classic. Bridesmaids. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray in a reimagining of Cinderella with A Cinderella Story. While it's not her first, it is the movie I think that put Keira Knightley on the map. It is Bend It Like Beckham, also starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. As You Wish. The Princess Bride. Office Space. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The Devil Wears Prada. Another Molly Ringwald classic, Pretty in Pink. I loved this book series growing up. I read all the books, and this film brought the first book to life perfectly. I loved it. Though the book is titled Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, the film is called Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. Whatever. But this also stars Aaron Johnson, who you might recognize from the Kick-Ass film. Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. One of my absolute favorite movies. I can quote this movie from beginning to end. It is Legally Blonde. What Women Want. Clueless. How we want to imagine all our days off from school, work, or just life. This man has inspired generations. It is Ferris Bueller's Day Off in 10 Things I Hate About You. Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality. Romeo and Juliet. Freaky Friday. One of my favorites, Bridget Jones's Diary. Bring It On. An Audrey Hepburn classic, Roman Holiday. Besides Vince Vaughn, Jason Segel is one of my absolute favorite comedic actors, and in this movie, he totally brings it. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So these are all the movies that I currently have on my shelf, but there are so many more that I love and would eventually love to have and own. There are some movies I want to give a shout out to that I really like but I don't currently own. There are Breakfast at Tiffany's, Easy A, She's All That, Pretty Woman, Amelie, Jerry Maguire, The Proposal, When Harry Met Sally, 50 First Dates, and those are just the ones that I came off with the top of my head in the past 2 minutes. There are so many others, especially classics that I love. Oh, Some Like It Hot. That one's one of my favorites. All right, have a good night. Watch some romantic comedies. All right, bye.
Erroneous! Erroneous! Erroneous on both counts.